Okay, so right away, let me just say that if you like this style of video, tell me in the comments because this is much easier to make and it's something I'm trying out. Recently, we got a big balance update for Guild Wars 2. I was very excited about the potential of these changes, and while not everything played out exactly how I kind of hoped it would, a lot of these changes did actually change the way that PvP works at the very least. In my experience, World vs. World is a little bit samey, but we'll get to that. So, basically, the objective with this patch was to tone down damage overall, tone down condition damage, which didn't really work out as well as I had hoped. They added cooldowns, longer cooldowns to abilities that had high damage or just big effects. For the most part, there are definitely some outliers. On the whole, it seems like anything that had CC basically does no damage now, so abilities that stun are abilities that stun, not stun and do a decent amount of damage. And just the overall result, at least from my perspective, as someone who has played these modes but doesn't play them regularly enough to really do any in-depth commentary or discussion on the matter, is that fights now last long enough for you to learn what happened or why you died. It's not just this big burst fest anymore. For the most part, again, there are some outliers, and I do hope that ArenaNet is swift to kind of knock down some of these, runaway builds and that, but right now, I've basically been playing all the professions that I can get my hands on, about one every night, and I've just been trying to actually get into the competitive mode, and all of this is only because of these huge balance updates. I stated when I announced that these changes would be coming in a previous video that it could be huge, and I still think, even despite some of the things that didn't really work out, it's a big change for the game. It's big enough that if you're someone like me, who doesn't really play these modes, or maybe you play them for a bit, and then you kind of take a break, maybe make that part of your rotation, at least for the time being, while things are kind of chaotic and the meta is still finding its footing. There is inevitably going to be some kind of meta that comes out of this balance. That meta might be very bursty and ultimately may feel very similar to the kind of gameplay that I didn't really like and was kind of used to from before. But as of last night, the last night that I played, and I will probably be playing as soon as this video is done, it just felt great. It felt so good. I was having a blast playing these competitive modes. So let me give you a few reasons why, as someone who doesn't normally play these modes, you might want to give it a try right now. As I said, the meta hasn't fully formed yet, so if you just want to get in there and try some weird builds or try to craft your own, now is the time to do that, definitely. I have tried some of the builds out on Meta Battle with about a 50% success rate. Some of these builds don't seem to work at all anymore. Others still seem to work mostly, but you might want to tweak them based on, especially if some of the traits have been completely deleted and reworked, you might want to look into that. But yeah, just based on the kind of chaos that came with this much balance at once, it's a good time to get in there. Everyone's kind of lost their footing, at least for a little while. Another great reason to join into the PvP side of things, at the very least, is the 2v2s that are going on right now. That's 3 maps that I had never seen before, 3 new PvP maps, so that's exciting all on its own. 2v2s are a deathmatch format, so different builds will work here that won't work in 5v5s, and if you're someone who doesn't really like capturing points, it's a totally different game mode. This is only going on for a little while, too, so maybe just check it out while you have the chance. Another great reason to do PvP at all, regardless of balance, is that if you're someone who doesn't really go for your daily every day, you can just play like 1 or 2 matches of PvP, and it's 2 free gold. 2 free gold, guys. Just get your 2 free gold, and maybe experience part of the game that you would otherwise ignore. And also, there is a new reward track that you can do for a new armor skin, and even if you're not all that crazy about that reward track or that skin in particular, there are a ton of great reward tracks in either World vs. World or PvP that you can complete that might even help you get some of the materials you're looking for faster than grinding them outright in PvE. Now, I'm not telling anybody to stop playing PvE by any means. Play however you want. I'm just saying it's a disservice to yourself as someone who owns the game or at least plays the game to ignore these modes right now especially. now is the time to come in and check these things out. I have had a blast. I cannot even overemphasize how much fun I've been having in these modes. I came back to Guild Wars 2 in a way just to really check this out. I always play Guild Wars 2 a little casually on the side whenever I'm kind of taking a break, which I've sort of been doing lately. But yeah, just to come back and learn classes I've never played and try different builds out for myself before the meta fully forms has been a lot of fun. I really finally understand why people say, you know, don't just copy paste things off a meta battle. You're not going to learn as much, and it's not going to be as rewarding. If you make your own build and you go out and get some victories, I mean, that feels great, guys. It's a really rewarding side of the game that I ultimately have kind of just never paid any attention to. As far as world versus world, like I said at the beginning of the video, it does feel pretty samey for the most part. Fights do last longer there as well, but the stability changes that were initially going to be for both PvP and world versus world did not come into world versus world, so there's still tons of stability, and as a result, in the groups that I was in the one night that I've been able to play that, I've mostly been playing structured PvP. We kind of just ran through huge groups of enemy players as a small group, and between the stability and healing we had on hand, we were kind of able to get a couple of kills, but for the most part, it was just fun to survive, to try and just troll the enemy team a little bit, I guess. I don't know. It was fun. We didn't really get a ton of rewards, but it was fun. You know what I mean by that? Does that make sense to anybody anymore? Is that even something that people consider when they play something at this point? I don't know, guys. Seems like a lot of people need that reward incentive, but for me, it's always come down to what's fun. That's part of the reason why I personally don't find the story elements of Guild Wars 2 as fun, and that's a big part of the development, has been for a while, and kind of why I took the break in the first place. That said, if things keep up the way that they have been, I could definitely see myself playing the game at least a few days a week in the competitive modes, just to have fun, you know? So, if you're someone out there who has not played these modes or has had bad experiences in the past, which I personally have, where everything was just so bursty that it was unfun, at least play unranked right now and get 2 free gold, maybe have a little fun, maybe make builds that won't necessarily guarantee victory but might just be fun to play, and just get the most out of the chaos that is this balance patch before everything kind of equalizes. I am still hoping that once everything kind of balances out, there'll still be some semblance of this feeling that I can cling to, and hopefully have some fun in those game modes into the future, even after things kind of shake out. So anyway, guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, if this is a format you like, this is sort of off the cuff. Normally, I don't really script videos, but I do bullet points and stuff and try to keep my head on track. You can see what it's like without that here in this video, but I was genuinely excited and happy about an update in the game, and so I decided to make this video to hopefully get someone else in my shoes to experience it. So if that happened, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've been enjoying this balance patch on the whole. For those of you guys who played more World vs. World than I have, let me know what you're thinking about that. I know that they might eventually do the kind of stability balance that's in PvP right now in World vs. World, so let me know if you think that that's a terrible idea. I know a lot of people did, and that's why they didn't add it to World vs. World, but yeah, guys, check out these modes. Enjoy the game, and let me know how things have been going for you in Guild Wars 2 after this update, even if it's in PvE, right? So that's actually it, guys. I just wanted to be excited and talk to you guys about this and see if you guys feel the same way, or maybe you're just upset that your class got nerfed. I don't know. As always, guys, to anybody out there who watched this or any other one of my videos, I hope you have a super swell day, and I'll see you in the next one.